Hello, Pat Stewart here. So I have a podcast as well as this YouTube channel. It's called The Canine Paradigm. I do it with my great friend Glenn Cook, and this week we had Bertie O'Sheedy, who's an awesome friend of ours, and she's been on a few times. And we're talking about shadow work and other interesting things. I ran this little AV test on whether I could film it and have the audio go into the camera and blah, 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 because we're thinking about in the future having a dedicated YouTube channel for the podcast and releasing clips from the podcast onto there, a couple of clips from each episode, maybe every week. So this is what it will sound like. Probably not what it will look like because we'll change the layout a little bit. But let me know if you think this is something we should pursue doing. Let me know in the comments, and I'll also link the podcast YouTube channel below. So if you're not already following that, please give it a subscribe. If you like this as well, hit like. I'll interpret that as I should do more of it. See ya.
It's interesting. I'm sitting here thinking as you guys are talking, and especially in the like I say, it's super relevant to our audience because we're constantly got other beings in our care. We're constantly caring for dogs, right? And then that has a flow-on effect. We have clients and all that kind of stuff. And something that like am constantly having to remind myself of is that self-care piece, and especially like use the example of exercise, right? So that's an hour a day that I need. And if I'm short on time, that's an easy thing to take away, right? Like I can just cut that out. Like that's easy. That's gone. And I'm only accountable to me, so I don't have to disappoint anyone. Like I don't have to.
Disappointment is so hard in those things.
Yeah, so I don't have to say to anyone like, "Hey, man, I can't do that today because I need to work out or I need to do this self-care thing." It's much easier for me just to not do that and do the thing for the person instead. And in the moment, that can be fine. That can work out. But long term, it means that everybody gets a lesser version of what I'm capable of giving. If I'm not doing the meditation and like all the shit that I need to do to be the best version of myself. So it's really easy to cut those things out, right? Like it's no problem. Like if I need to find time, I can go, well, like no, I am only accountable to myself for this workout. So I can get rid of that. And I don't have to explain to anybody my whole life circumstance and how I put myself overload and now I need to stop doing something. But then every single person I have a follow-on interaction with gets a lesser version or not as good a version of myself.
Especially a family.
Exactly. And they're the ones that are most important, right? And so I think for me, it's took me a long time to understand this. And it's one of the things that I think if we can pass on to dog training people, the dog culture people, is that you're much better off really, or I think anyway, you're much better off catastrophically disappointing one person so that you can be 100% for the remainder of the people. And you find a way to make it up to that person another time. But rather than giving everybody kind of 80% of what you're capable of, it's better to keep yourself running at 100% and service who you can so that they get the best possible version of yourself. And I find that a lot with my dogs. When I'm training with my dog, it's an awesome time to, I can do two things at once. I'm pretty good at it, especially with my own dogs now. Like I know what they need and I can be listening to something. I can be on the phone to someone and training my dog at the same time. And while I can be an effective dog trainer doing that, I can't give my dog 100%, right? And so he's getting not a great version of me. Whereas if I just allocated the time to talk to that person or listen to that thing or whatever, so that when I'm with him, I can actually give him the 100%, right? Like I'm totally with you. I'm not listening to something else. I'm not on the phone with someone else while I'm training you. Those sorts of things. Then he gets the best version, and maybe he gets the best version of me less, but he gets the best version when he does, right?
Quality.
He never gets the 80%, the 50%. And that's what I, really try and implement with my family as well.